Hi plant friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Manny here. In today's video, I thought I would finally show you guys a tour of both of my Ikea Milsbo cabinets. Now, I believe I did do a tour of my first one a couple months ago, or like several months ago. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll link it in one of these corners for you guys if you guys are interested. Since making that video, I have made quite a few modifications to it, and I actually got a second one. So I have two tall Milsbo cabinets currently right now, and I'm quite happy with where they're at right now, so I thought I would give you guys a little tour of it. And just a heads up, all of the plants that are in both cabinets are Hoyas, because you guys all know I love Hoyas. And yeah, all my Hoyas are doing great, so I thought I would show you guys everything that I did, what it looks like, and all that good stuff. Since I do have two cabinets and I have a lot of plants in them, it might take a little while for me to show you guys a tour. So this might be cut into like two parts. Like one part would be one tall cabinet, the second one would be another, and then I will show you guys the rest of my houseplants that aren't in my cabinets. So if you guys are interested, then keep on watching. Here's a quick overview of what the cabinet looks like. I'm going to try to go pretty quickly because I have quite a few plants in there. And yes, you guys, cords up the butt. There's so many. And you know what I do? I just I just shove it in there. Whatever. I should like do something, like get like a little basket or whatever. But you know what? This is not that type of video. This is a tour video. Let me just show you guys. Also, I want to preface, this cabinet is pretty dirty. I have not cleaned it since getting it, and I've had it for quite a while now. That is just real life for you. I will be cleaning it after this video. And yeah, let's get started. I do have my fan on all the time, but since it's kind of noisy, I'm going to turn it off for the purpose of this video. But let me show you guys. This is what she looks like. And yes, all of the plants in here are Hoyas. So we're going to start with the bottom shelf and then move our way up because I am short. So here are all the plants on the bottom shelf. Just to let you guys know, the lighting in my camera kind of looks weird, but the lights that I use have the yellow tone to it. Most of the Hoyas in this cabinet and my other cabinet are very wild. They're not organized in any way, to be honest with you. I just placed them in there and they just grew the way they did. And also, most of the Hoyas in here were imports that I had to reroot myself. I like chopped it up, rerooted it, and then placed it in soil. So let's get started. So first Hoya in this corner is my Hoya parensis. I know it looks really weird, but surprisingly this is what it looks like sun stressed. There are Hoyas that don't sun stress at all, and there's some Hoyas that sun stress beautifully, and then there are Hoyas like this that sun stress in a very ugly way. And you would think, oh, it's like nutrient deficiency and everything, but it's not. I was gonna actually pluck this leaf off because I thought it was going to die, and that was like 5 months ago, and it's still here. So it's an ugly sun stress. It's okay. This also has a peduncle. It's budding right there. And like all the other Hoyas, the stems are just growing in a crazy direction. I just leave it. It grows how it grows. I don't really care. Next is my Hoya Sarawak. I have multiple of these. This is Hoya Sarawak that produces pink leaves. This is a new leaf. This one sun stresses beautifully, and then it goes like all the way up here, and it has 3 other leaves, and then the stem like goes all the way up there, which is a common theme in this cabinet, you will see. But this new leaf has a beautiful splashing going on. Next is my Hoya ring sand. You guys have seen this before multiple times, I'm sure. And guess what it did again? It's shooting out more freaking peduncles. Whenever my ring sand produces peduncles, it doesn't only produce one. It like produces like 4 or 5 at one time. And there's one right there. Thankfully, this one is also producing a leaf. But last time when it produced a lot of peduncles, I had to cut off the peduncles because it was inhibiting my plant from growing more leaves. But It's on a homemade trellis that I know looks janky, but you know, it just does the job. That's all I need it to do, right? Here is my Hoya Sarawak from Borneo. This one produces cream flowers, and it used to be my living room shelf, but then I placed it in here because it was growing really slowly, and since then it has grown a whole new stem. Okay, and then back here is my Hoya Fusco marginata. The stem actually goes all the way up here. I have to follow the spaghetti. There's another leaf right here, and here's the newest leaf, and then it just goes like all the way up there. I believe this Hoya Fusco marginata did get reclassified. I believe it's like part of the Hoya vitellina Hoya, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So usually I would see people name this Hoya vitellina, formerly known as Hoya Fusco marginata. This gets really pretty sun stressed by getting black borders, which I love. Ooh, don't fall on me. And this one just, I don't know, I need to make a trellis for it, but who has time for that? In this corner I have one of my Hoya Mathilde. You guys know, like last summer I almost lost it, so I took lots of cuttings from my main plant and made this, and I have to move it soon because it's getting too big for this area. It's growing a bunch of peduncles right there, and it's flowered multiple times for me. It's just too big in a small space, and it's not working out. And in the back I have my Heshklianavaragata. I actually repotted it and I kind of trellised it, and I used the same trellis as it was on before, which is a bad idea because it's really small. But you know what, it does the job, and it has bloomed multiple times for me. There's one peduncle here, and it has another peduncle right there. And this one sun stresses very beautifully as well. It's just the rest of the leaves aren't sun stressed because some of the other plants are kind of blocking its way. And then in this corner I have my Hoya Calista. This is like one of like 5 that I have. I honestly don't like Hoya Calista as a hanging basket. Well, not in here, because since the light comes from above and not like on the sides, the leaves are coming in a lot smaller because it's not getting as much light. My other one has bigger leaves because it's growing upward. But yeah, it's a pretty cool plant. It sun stresses very beautifully. It gets this really pretty red color, which only sticks around if you constantly give it bright light. And of course, new growth that comes out if given a lot of light will come out red. Here's like the older leaves. And that is my bottom shelf. So crazy. So we were just there. Now we're gonna move up to this shelf here. This is even a crazier shelf. And keep in mind that whenever I have to water any of these plants, I do take them out individually, or like the ones that need watering, and I water at the sink. Okay, where do I start? There's just so much. Okay, we'll start in this corner. This is a Hoya Natalie, or Nathalie as it's spelled, but I believe it's like Natalie. Such a fast grower. Follow the spaghetti, goes all the way up here, and I kind of clipped it to this grid back here instead of putting it on a trellis. And as you can tell, this leaf got a bit too much sun, and yeah, it looks like the sun stress is just really strong on that one. And then this is the newest leaf on here. This also sun stresses by getting like black borders around the leaves, which I think is so beautiful. That's like one of my favorite types of sun stress, when they get the black borders. And like everything in this cabinet, the stems are growing upward. And it also has a new stem growing in there, so I'm pretty excited. Okay, so we'll move back. This is my Hoya clandestina. I believe this got reclassified as well. I think it got reclassified as a latifolia. Please, if you guys know if this actually got reclassified, please leave it down below. I would really appreciate that. This also sun stresses by getting like the dark borders, and it has pretty splashing right there. There's other leaves. But if this did get reclassified as latifolia, I can see why, because the leaves really look like my latifolia. But these two are the newest leaves here. They're a gorgeous color. Don't worry, this new growth has hardened off, so that's why I'm touching it. Normally with new growth on Hoyas, you don't want to touch it because it can cause it to fall off. This has a really hardy woody stem, so I couldn't really manipulate it because it's not really malleable, so I couldn't really like loop it around the trellis it's on. So I just stuck it up here, and it is growing upward up there. Okay, and then right here is a Hoya Noel, which is like the cousin of Hoya Natalie. I believe they have like similar crosses. But this also sun stresses by getting like the dark black borders, and you can tell that these are cousins because they look very similar to each other. The only thing I've noticed is that the new leaves on this Hoya Noel has come in a bit bigger, but this has slight sun stressing right there and has a little bit of splash. And then it goes all the way up there. Don't know where it stops, but it just goes up. Next is my pride and joy, which is my Hoya Heshklianavaragata. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys would have seen this when I first got it. It was really tiny. And look at it now, it's growing so much. I just placed this here because I don't know where to put it. I don't want to have it hang because I don't want the new growth to be small. So I just leave it here. I don't know, you guys. If you guys have any ideas of what I should do with this, let me know. But cool thing about this is it has a peduncle. Peduncle wuncle, who's your uncle? I think it produces pink flowers. Question mark, I don't know. Since this plant does have white in it, if it's given a lot of light, the new growth does come out this very pretty pink color. There we go. See how the new growth is like light pink, and that's like hot pink, and the stem also turns a really pretty pink color. Love this plant so much. It's such an easy grower, and I just love how like it throws out green leaves and then variegated leaves. It's an awesome plant. Next is my Hoya Mikkel. I think that's how you pronounce it. This was the one that was named after the botanist Mikkel Rhoda. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. But this, I mentioned in a haul video that it's prone to getting like these purple sunspots, and that's because of overexposure by light, as you can see. So it's not like a big problem or anything. And if you actually visit Unsolicited Plant Talks website, she has a blog or like a little insert that actually talks about this. It's not harmful to the plant that I know of. I'm sure you guys can prevent this from happening by not providing a lot of light, but the stem goes all the way up here. Here's a new leaf right here. See, like you see how there's like a tiny leaf right there where my index finger is? You do not want to touch that at all. You don't want to bump into it, because if you do, it will turn yellow and fall off. And then the stem keeps going up. And this is the newest leaf right here. I should stop touching that because it's really soft. Also, there's a peduncle right there where my index finger is. I'm so excited. And then it goes up again that way. I hope you guys are able to see it. I know it's like really hard because the stems are everywhere. Okay, and then another one of my pride and joys is my Hoya elliptica. I'm not sure what type this is because I know there's like different types and there's ones that are from like different regions. I wish I could show you guys like the full view of this because it has so many growth points. It's ridiculous. Like all of those that look like straight sticks are new stems. And then that's still growing. Pretty much every single auxiliary bud is forming on this plant. It's such a fast grower, and these don't ship well, but once they're established, they grow so fast. And then the lower leaves are a bit sun stressed or sun bleached as well, so I've been trying to pull this a little further from the light, and you guys saw it has a peduncle right here. It's flowered for me multiple times. And to be honest with you, besides the Hoya Spa Afbertini, the smell of these blooms are also not a favorite of mine. It just smells like really floral and it's very potent. And then last but not least is my giant Hoya AH074. This is the one that is a just regular carnosa that has a lot of splash. I forgot what the cross of this was, which I'm sure it's crossed with something. I just can't remember what it's crossed with, but it has so many growth points. Like this guy is growing up that way. And then it has a really long stem here, which has a couple of peduncles. There's one peduncle right there. And then it goes up. And the crazy thing is, it's climbing like this corner here because this is the same stem. And I have to move it soon because as you can see, it's like, it reached the top and it's bending right now. And it also has a peduncle in that corner. So once it produces more leaves, I will be chopping this up and propagating it because this stem is just too long for this space. But there's the leaves. And that concludes our second shelf. Now we're on to the top shelf. Here is the top shelf. As you can see, I mostly have my hanging plants here. So let's start with what's in front of me. This is a Hoya vitellinoids. It grows very large leaves and it has really pretty veining. It has a couple of splashing. This was a recent purchase of mine. It was a cutting and I rooted it, and now it is in soil, doing great. Next to it is my Hoya fungi, like mushrooms. This I thought would be exactly just like a regular Hoya carnosa, but it has really fuzzy leaves. It's so odd. Like it doesn't look fuzzy, but when you touch it, it just feels like peach fuzz. It's pretty cool. And the leaves get massive. Like this is not even the biggest one. I have like a large one in my grow tent. But this one also grows really freaking fast. It even has a peduncle. It has two peduncles actually. There's two, and the stem goes all the way up there. I don't know what to do with it. I just leave it. We'll see how it grows in. I will be chopping it once it gets more leaves that develop. And then here I have my Hoya calista philla. I don't know if this is short leaves or long leaves. It was just sold to me as Hoya calista philla. Also has really pretty veiny leaves. But this is definitely a slow grower for me. In this corner, you've seen this in a haul, is my Hoya surrigaoensis. This can get really pretty sun stressing if you give it enough light, but it also grows very huge leaves. I think this one's pretty huge. And it's a pretty fast grower too. As you can see, the stem is back there and it grows all up there. I've been moving this a couple of times, and so by doing so, as you can see, there's a new leaf that developed right here, but as you can see, it is pretty like light pink. That will soon turn yellow and fall off because I do believe I bumped it into a couple of things. And that's why you want to be really careful with new growth, especially in Hoyas, because they're like extra sensitive. Just trust me, and just trust me. Don't learn the hard way like I did. Oh, by the way, I'm standing on a stool right now, and that's what the noise is. And then on the back, I hooked up these pots to like this grid that I got off of Amazon, which I will link in my description box. And it came with like these little what are these called? They're like linen clips, but they're like miniature. It's so cute, and I use a couple of them to just pin these to the wall so that they can hang. Ow, snap. So right here I have my Hoya bravolotta with splash. As you can see, there's like really high splash on the leaves. There's new growth finally on this. Like for a while it wasn't growing at all for me, and it was getting really frustrating, but now it's like shooting off a lot of stems, as you can see. And I'm excited because the new growth does have a lot of splash, so that the splash gene is being passed on. And then in this top corner I have my Hoya Heshklianavaragata. I imported this like 3 times. I can't remember if I imported this or bought this locally, but it's finally growing, and I've learned that this guy only grows fast or grows at all for me if I give it high humidity. Like if it sits in my living room, it will not grow at all. It does have a second growth point up here, and this is one of the Hoyas that sun stress beautifully, and if you give it constant light, it will keep the sun stressed look. Like it looks like pink almost, and it can turn dark purple. Has really pretty silver splashing on it. I really like this plant, but if you get it, give it lots of humidity. Next is one of a couple Hoya lacunosa royal flush. I believe this is the one that is from like Costa Farms. I got this from a local seller, and it did recently bloom for me, and it just blooms like a regular lacunosa. It has one of my favorite fragrances of Hoya flowers. It just smells so delicious, and the new growth comes out really pretty dark and splashy if you give it a lot of light. You can see. And I just love how the peduncle kind of hangs off of this. Like it's so long. Next is my Hoya manny parensis. It flowered like a dozen times for me, but it's finally growing new growth right now. Finally. And it is still in pond. I found that this loves being in pond for me. Next to that is my Hoya lilie. It's spelled L-Y-I. This is very cute because it has fuzzy leaves, and it grows very tiny leaves. It has a new growth point that's growing kind of weird up there. It also has 2 peduncles. It has one at the end right there, and the other peduncle is right here. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Yeah, it just grows in kind of weird. The new leaves are very tiny and cute. Right there. And then the last plant I have is my Hoya rotundiflora. This is a pretty easy grower as well. It has really cute rectangular leaves, which I love. I can't wait until this flowers for me. I haven't had it flower for me. It does have new growth right here. Oh wow, it has a peduncle. I didn't even notice that. Is that the rotundiflora? Yeah! You guys, how exciting. Okay, it's okay. Stop fighting with me. Come on. It has a peduncle right there. I just noticed that. Well, I'm glad I did this video because I would have not noticed that. How cool. I will definitely update you guys when it flowers. It's just, I think it's one of the most beautiful flowers, but I don't know what the fragrance is, so we shall see. But that is my top shelf. Let me give you another overview of all of my plants in my IKEA cabinet number 1. Hopefully I can fit cabinet number 2 in here. If not, it'll be in a separate video. Okay, so that concludes my first cabinet. It seems as though I am not gonna have enough time to fit both cabinets into one video. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And stay tuned for my second IKEA cabinet tour. Will be coming up very soon. And yeah, if you guys have an IKEA cabinet, comment down below. Let me know which plants you guys have in your cabinets. And let me know which Hoyas is your favorite. And as always, guys, I hope you guys are having a great day. And I will definitely see you in my next video. Bye, guys.